Hey there, Sharon Peterson here, and I am going to be cutting my seed potatoes today. That's the first step when you're going to be planting potatoes. So when you buy seed potatoes, it's going to have these sprouts on them, and what you're going to want to do is you're going to cut your potato into 2 pieces, maybe 3 pieces, depending on the size of the potato. Bigger potato can be cut into more pieces. Some people can even cut them into really fairly small pieces and still plant them. I usually like to just cut them into 2. For some reason, I just feel like it gives the potato a better shot if you leave a little bit more flesh with your chit or with your sprout. There's pros and cons to both methods. There's actually people who also will just prefer to just plant the whole potato just like it is and have it grow, and any of those will work. In the olden days, from what I understand, they cut the potato up to get as many eyes, they call them eyes or chits or sprouts, as they can out of one potato, because each piece that you plant in the ground is, of course, is going to create a potato plant. So cutting these up is the first step. After you cut them up, you're going to allow them to air dry for 3 or 4 days. That will cause a skin to form over that cut part, and then it just protects the potato in the soil after you planted it. So let me go ahead and bring my camera closer, and I will give you a close-up of the potato and how I actually decide to cut it. Okay, so these are my seed potatoes. These are a Yukon Gold. My husband picked them up for me at Rural King. He said they were pretty well picked over, and so he tried to get as many as he could that already had these sprouts that were showing. Some of these don't have much sprout showing, but if you look closely, you can still see where the sprouts will eventually come out, and so we're good. We're going to still use these potatoes, but I like to get them when I can see for sure where those nice sprouts are going to be coming up. So what you want to do is you want to try to cut this potato so that you have sprouts in each piece. So this one here, for example, all of the sprouts seem to be on this side of the potato. There's one over here, but what I am going to do is I am going to cut this way between these two sprouts, and then I will take that piece and I'll probably cut it again just to get this sprout, or I might leave it on the same piece. Let me go ahead and cut it and just see what I decide to do with that. So you just cut it in half. You can see this has got this nice sprout on it. That's a plant that's going to get planted into the ground. And then this one here, I could decide to go ahead and cut it in half to separate this chit from this chit, or this sprout from this sprout, but I think I'm going to go ahead and just leave it in one piece. Like I said, I kind of like to leave it in a little bit bigger chunks. Some people like to go real small, so it doesn't really matter either way. Now, after I get these all cut, I will just put these in a bowl or on a plate or something, and I'm going to let them just sit out, and they're going to kind of air dry. There's going to be kind of a leathery feel to this. It's going to get all dried out, and that's just going to protect that potato from any diseases in the soil, and it's going to protect it from rot if the soil is too wet, and so that's what's going to happen there. So that's it. It's super easy to cut potatoes. They call it chitting, but that's the first step in my planting potatoes. Let's go ahead and do another one here. Let's look at this one. So this one, the only nice sprout is on this side. There's a little sprout here. Looks like maybe a little sprout there. So I am going to go ahead and just cut this in half this way. And now that one is ready to be cured. This one, it's got a nice sprout here, but there's not really much on the other side of this. There is a little one here. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it in half. And then those are ready to go. So you can see that you just got to look at where the eyes are, what you decide to do. I'm going to cut that in half there. This one actually has 2 fairly good sized sprouts here and here. So what I could do, and I'll go ahead and do it, is cut it right between the 2 of those. And so now that I actually made 3 pieces, and so I'll have 3 potatoes to plant for that. Super easy. It's not rocket science. Just do your best to get an eye, and this is what an eye is. You get an eye on each of the potatoes as they're going to go into the ground.